So how do you use the adoption curve? We need to get very quickly from innovator to early adopter to the early and late majority, nearly 70% of the market. That's where we have to be. We have to understand the risk profile. If an early adopter won't purchase it, it will not get through to that early majority. It won't happen. Now that you know about the adoption curve, you're probably wondering, how do I influence it? 5 factors to think about, 5 things to consider to get to the early and late majority. Relative advantage, compatibility, complexity, trialability, and the last one, observability. Let's see what we can do with those. One way to get to early and late majority is simply relative advantage, comparing it to existing products. Reasons might be cost, performance, quality of materials, added features, innovation. Anything that sets the new product apart from the previous product. Example, headphones, the new feature of noise reduction. Relative advantage. Let's consider compatibility. How well does the new product fit with the wants, values, and experiences of your customers? Classic example. Think of the radio. Everyone knew what it is, what it does. Then Sony came along and turned it into the Walkman. We could pick up the radio, put it on our hip, and we could walk anywhere with music, anytime. Now let's think about complexity. How well do consumers, your customers, understand the product concept? An example is the mobile phone. Combines technology, telephony, sound, video. Very complicated, now it's become very normal. Complexity to simplicity. The next one we want to think about is called trialability. The extent to which your customers, your consumers, can sample that new product before they buy. Simple example, gaming consoles and games. You can walk into a store, try it out, get into it, enjoy it, yes or no. Also, a motor vehicle. You can drive it, see how it goes, see whether you like it, whether it's the right feel, the fit and budget, trialed. But not all things are easily trialed. Example would be a tattoo. You could perhaps see a photograph of one, but unless you have the tattoo done, you have no idea how it's going to end up. Now, observability. The extent to which your customers and consumers can actually see how that product works. Simple example, personal training. Before and after pictures about people being healthier and fitter. Factors that affect the adoption rate, why people buy things. Ongoing costs, initial costs, existing switching costs, moving from one product to another. Brand loyalty, risk, uncertainty, what your friends think, we call that social approval, and whether the product adheres to the latest fads and fashions. You know, what's hot, what's not, what's in, what's out. You may have noticed when you're looking at the model, there's this part called the chasm, which is between the early adopters and the early majority. All products and services start at the innovators. You've got to get through them. We get on to the early adopters, you've got to get through them, jump the chasm into the early and late majority. The chasm is that so many products and services fall into that chasm and never come out. In fact, 80% who don't jump properly, they don't understand the rest of the models, which we'll be explaining to you, they'll fall in and it's all over. There is no recovery once you're in that chasm. Are you feeling lucky? So what? About the adoption curve, where is your product at the moment? What is the risk profile of your target market? What are your customers thinking? Are they comfortable or are they worried? It's all about risk. Who should you market your product to? How can your product jump the chasm with the least effort for maximum results? Now it's your turn. The adoption curve. Determine what adopter category your product is currently in. Use the adoption curve to determine the type of consumer that you should be targeting, their risk, their comfort. Don't forget you can have a look at what Sarah and Mike have been doing with their adoption curve, how they've approached opportunity, how they've crossed the chasm and achieved their goals with the least effort. So what's next? Now that you know about the chasm, how do you jump it? There are 2 strategies to jump the chasm. We push or we pull. push and pull strategies. We'll explore both of these in the next section.